Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Hollywood After Dark, and it is the 27th of August, 2019. It's getting close. We're almost here. The end of summer. Well, the end of summer if you are a person who happens to attend school. Although I do feel today was the first day back for many a kids. In fact, that's good. It gets them off the damn road, and more importantly, and this is most important for people like me, it gets them out of the goddamn theater. They're not going to the movies because they're getting an education. Unlike people like me who've already suffered through all the years of schooling and now want to spend our days at the movie theater, not being bothered by anyone. That, of course, is one of the reasons why I look forward to going to the movies. Speaking of going to the movies, this is true. I got an email today from Cinemark, and they're like, "Do you want to go to a Downton Abbey early screening?" And I'm all like, "Yes, I do." Now, if you don't know me, and you should know me at this point because I'm pretty awesome, I'm a big Downton Abbey fan, right? I'm a really big Downton Abbey fan. Have been for years. The movie coming out looks pretty good. You're going to hear my daughter in the backdrop. She's, for some reason, having a little bit of trouble going to bed. You know how it is for a 21-month-old almost. For her, going to bed is literally the worst thing on the planet. Little does she pay attention to The Last Jedi, which far usurps going to bed in regards to terrible things. Followed not too closely by Ghostbusters 2016. Another terrible film. Another terrible film. But that is the world we live in, folks. What's going on? SPC Bird, how you doing? Calling in, I guess really at any time. I don't have any real stories planned, to be fair. Because I already did my videos earlier today, and then I had to run errands tonight, and I just got back from doing that. There's a power outage next to my place. Thankfully, I didn't get the power outage, but there was a power outage, and so I'm driving. I almost died tonight. I did. I almost died. I'm driving home, and I come to this this intersection, and I kind of slow down, and I don't see anybody. And it's a main intersection, but the power's out. And then I start driving through, and I look over, and there's this car doing at least 55 miles an hour. And just fuck, dude. Almost, I saw it fast enough to where like my reflexes kicked in, and I slammed on the brakes, threw it in reverse, and didn't die. And I feel pretty good about that, actually. I feel pretty good that I didn't actually die. So, SPC, thank you so much for watching the videos, man. I really appreciate that. I'm a relatively middle of the road kind of guy. All right, well, that was quick. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, it's Batman Superman.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? How's life across the pond?
It's normal. One day it's hot and then it's really boiling. Today it's boiling, and now it just started raining, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, that's how these things kind of work out. So what's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you saw the online tracking for Maleficent, because it's come up as everybody's worried it's going to open with less than half what the original did.
Well, there's reasons for that. I haven't seen. Let me do a look here through my Maleficent. All right, so far, no, maybe I'm typing it in wrong. Let me see. Maleficent. To box office. All right, predictions here.
Well, John Campia was talking about it on his show.
Well, John Campia talks about a lot of things. He doesn't always get them. Let's see. Okay, so 5 days ago, an article dropped on boxofficepro.com that says, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, opening weekend range, 30 to 50 million. And the first movie, when it dropped in 2014, hit nearly 70 million, finishing with a $758 million global run, which is just insane. That movie was terrible.
Yeah, that was a bad film.
It was bad. I don't audibly say like respond to what I see on screen. You know, like not, those people. Those people that like answer rhetorical questions asked in movies,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Those people. I'm not one of those people. But when I saw Maleficent and it got to the end of the movie, and it's like it's doing that narration thing, and it just says, "This is one of those times, or one of those stories, where the villain was the hero the entire time," or whatever the fuck it was, right? And I audibly just yelled, "Oh fuck you!" Like it was so terrible that
Yeah, but
happened. I would.
one of the big problems is they have such a big gap between these. If you remember, the first Alice in Wonderland got a billion, but the second one was a total flop.
Yeah,
Too many
yeah, no,
years.
that's too many years. No, that's the thing. It's too many years. I've been arguing with OA fans on the Netflix show, the OA, the
Oh,
original Angel. If you haven't seen it, but it's not a bad show. I haven't seen the second season because there was almost 2.5 years between season
yeah,
one and season two. I lost
yeah.
interest. It's not that the show was bad. The show is heavy. It's really heavy. And I've been watching like Mr. Iglesias on Netflix because that shit's funny. Like I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the new season of Big Mouth next month. Like I just want like short comedy. And I don't want to sit down and watch this like philosophical show about a chick who's an angel, does time travel. I don't know, or
Do you
dimension
think
travel.
that? Do you think that the gap is also going to affect Black Panther too? Because that's not coming out for another
Nah,
couple of years.
no, no, not at all. Because that one's dropping. I mean, that one's dropping like 4 years after. No, is it 2022? Right? They said 2022 for
2022. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's 4 years after Black Panther. That might. I mean, that might
It's not
because
as
it's like
big as the other one. Yeah.
it's. I mean, it was a 1.3 billion dollar movie. It was a
Yeah.
cultural phenomenon. People are still saying Wakanda forever, or like what is it that Black Panther says like Babombe, Babombe,
Yeah.
right? Like he keeps yelling like he just yells it out constantly. Um and like that's going to be the whole aspect of it is just like fucking these people.
But I think you guys get that more in America with Wakanda and that Bombay thing. I've never heard it here once in the UK, so I don't know.
well, yeah, to be
I
fair,
think
I think
Black
we would
American
get it
audiences
here.
are much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
They love it much more than
Yeah, and that's
foreign.
fine. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Like, I mean, I took my dad to go to like the
Yeah, I don't too.
early screening of it, and like we were like, you figured that it would be completely full of African Americans because that would be like, they were really excited to see the movie. No, it was mostly white people who saw it,
No,
right? But
I'm
but
sorry.
it was a
I
cultural
have
phenomenon with
yeah, I have one problem with that film, and that film. I mean,
just one.
let's just talk about loads, but one of the main problems is that film did not deserve an Oscar nomination. I mean, that's
No,
ridiculous.
no, it didn't. It didn't. It really didn't. It's not a bad movie, by the way. I like Black Panther quite a bit, and
No, no.
I do see the significance like with Black Americans and Black American culture having been drawn to it the way that they did. Totally get it,
Yeah.
and I support it too. I think it's like the joke I made after I saw the movie was, oh, it's like James Bond. It's like a female. No, I said, oh no, Marvel finally has its first female led movie because it felt more like Okoye, Shuri, and Lupita Nyong'o's character were more of main characters than Black Panther was in his own movie.
Yeah, it feels like an ensemble film.
It did. It did.
That's Civil War. People always say it's Captain America, but let's be honest, it's Avengers 2.5.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say that I would like to see Captain America get one more standalone movie.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually like. I mean, I think I'm not a big fan of Disney. We spoke about it last time, but I like the Captain America films. I will admit that. I think they're quite interesting.
Well, that of course is the Russo Bros, who I think have taken the Marvel Cinematic Universe to new fucking heights.
Yeah, they have. They've definitely changed it.
Just imagine what Infinity War and Endgame would have been like under Joss Whedon.
Oh Jesus!
I mean,
would hire that guy after what he did with Avengers 2? That is one of the worst films I've ever seen. It
well,
starts off with running, and he just ruined Justice League. Justice League tonally is a piece of crap.
Well, okay, so I have to kind of run on the Joss defense here because I kind of feel it's necessary. When it
Oh, is it?
comes
Okay.
to Avengers Age of Ultron,
Yeah.
Feige at that time was coming, he's end of phase 2, wanting to set up Infinity War, wanting to set up the Gauntlet, wanting to say it was a setup movie. Age of Ultron was more of a setup movie for the end game than Iron Man 2 was setting up for Avengers. And it was like all the things they wanted to tell the story, add this new character in, add the Mind Stone in, create Vision, introduce the Maximoff twins and
Yeah.
everything else. And it was like, they had a lot to do with it. And then, you could tell that Joss wanted to tell more of an intimate personal story. And he really wanted to like play at the character moments. That's why the whole thing with Bruce and Natasha was the way it was.
Feige wanted to build a universe.
And the thing is, Kevin Feige was the one that was like, no, we got to shoehorn in the Stones. Now, at the end of the day, it paid off in the long run, right? 2.795 billion and everything. And it's like, so it paid off in the long run really well. But you could tell at that time, they were putting a lot on Joss Whedon. And I think he had trouble. Now, as for Justice League, he was kind of put in an impossible situation.
He was told to put jokes into that.
No, he was definitely told to lighten it up 100%, but he was also in the situation of coming in to direct these reshoots to try to tonally match Zack Snyder, which you can't do unless you're Zack fucking Snyder.
Yeah, because only he can do those really badass visuals.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's why on his new movie, The Army of the Dead, when I talk to people about that, I'm like, look, this movie, he gets to go full on. This is Zack Snyder Unchained. Completely.
Yeah, I mean,
completely unchained.
What you want about Man of Steel and I mean, I love Man of Steel and BVS. I think I told you I like the darker approach. But if we just look visually, the films make the MCU look like a concrete wall because
they do.
His visuals are just stunning. I mean, every shot in BVS, I was like, what am I looking at? I went to see it 3 times.
It's I mean, no, BVS was very much I think when you see the extended cut of BVS, it really does add to the visuals because the story finally matches. Like when Lex is talking about how like devils come from the sky, and like I get the symbolism and all that shit what they're talking about. The cinematography there, I think the scene's a bit more extended in the extended edition, and you get a bit more of a feel for it. Or maybe it was just my second time watching it and everything else. Lunathir says, what?
Go ahead. Oh, I was just thinking, I find the fight scenes that Zack Snyder does so much more, I would say, badass. Because if you look at the first 2 Avengers films, the Avengers always end up fighting these brainless hordes of army, even in Infinity War. But whereas in BVS and Man of Steel, the enemies that they fight, they're not hordes of armies. Do you know what I mean? It's like Fiora, it's like Batman versus Superman. It's not just a brainless horde of armies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then you have like the warehouse scene where Batman just fucks up a bunch of nameless dudes, which is still one of the best scenes ever made, in my opinion.
That was badass, yeah. But
that was such
like a massive brainless army coming from space, like in the first 3 Avengers.
Well, what about in Justice League, like the fucking brainless army coming?
But shit, I'm only talking about the first 2 because I only like.
Oh, okay.
The rest of them crap. Heck, I even wasn't a big fan of Wonder Woman, and that's supposed to be one of the much better ones. I thought Wonder Woman fell apart in the 3rd act.
Oh, I think it had a very strong first 2 acts, and then the 3rd act. Most of these movies run into the problem with the 3rd act. Have you ever noticed that? They just don't know how to finish the story.
Yeah, Black Panther CGI falls apart in the 3rd act too.
Yeah, for how much money they spend on that, you figure they would be able to make it look a bit better. But I don't know, man. I mean, like at the same time, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to whatever comes next with Black Panther 2. I think it's going to be, I think it's having it kind of like not be tied to maybe a specific incident, like leading, I mean, there's so low stakes for what's coming, for what's right now. Galactus is going to be like the next big bad, that or Doctor Doom, right? That's going to be like, I mean, I'm just waiting for like Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants to pose an actual fucking threat.
I wonder how he's going to top up the Fox X-Men films, because I mean X1 and 2 are amazing. They really are. And then Logan
so is Days of Future Past and Logan. Yeah.
Yeah, First Class and Days of Future Past are amazing. I don't know. It's going to be weird seeing who they cast as Magneto. Ian McKenna does such a good job.
I would love. I mean, I might be one of the few. If they were like, "Hey, we're just gonna bring over like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender," I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine with that."
Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
Amazing, Professor X.
Yeah, I mean, I would love. He's the definitive Professor X. Everyone knows him as Professor X. I would argue more people know him as Professor X than Jean-Luc Picard. That's what I would argue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that ultimately is going to be what more people kind of get, what more people flock to at the end of the day. So I don't know. I mean, Feige, whatever he's got going on for that shit. All I know is Spider-Man was a pretty big part of it. So, and I still think I still have a feeling they're going to make it work.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to come to a deal. I don't know what you mean by make it work. Do you mean make it work without him?
No, they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal.
Oh, you think they're going to make a deal? Oh, wow.
I think they're going to make a deal. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I still stand by that. I still think they're going to make a deal. I don't know when it's going to happen. I think they're going to like let it kind of simmer down for a bit, but because I still haven't heard anything out of Amy Pascal yet. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing out of Pascal. So she's still involved.
The only thing I've heard is Tom Holland unfollowed Sony on Instagram or something, or Twitter or whatever.
It was on Instagram. He unfollowed them. So did Zendaya, I think. And you can tell when they unfollow that there's a reason. Like that's their subtle little like, fuck you, man.
I'm sorry, these actors are a bit stupid, because that's like you going out and doing a hard day's work, and I do 1 hour of the work but take 50% of the pay. That's ridiculous. 50% is too much. Disney.
But what are you talking about? Like they do 1 day of work. What are you talking about? They would take over the production. They would co-finance. Okay, if you want to go with the 50-50 split, which was not even the original deal. What we found out was it was more like 75-25 with Sony taking the 75. And then I think it's like, no, it's like this thing. There's been so much misinformation on this shit, right? Like so many people are running with it. It's from my understanding, I think the last deal the last info we got out of Sony, because everything that came out was released from Sony. It was all released from Sony. It was, like Andy Signore's all like, no, it was actually like Marvel who did this. Why would Marvel do it? They don't need to. They don't need to. If it puts them in a bit of a negative light, which is what they're trying to do, what that info was trying to do, it wouldn't come out from Marvel. It come out from Sony.
But Spider-Man is holding up the entire bloody studio. There's no way they're giving 50% of that.
Well, no, it's not. The thing is, think of it like this. It's long-term game, right? Long-term gain. So here, okay, if you pump in $200 million into a Spider-Man movie, which through Sony traditionally is grossed, let's say about $750 million worldwide. Okay. Let's say 750, because it's not $1 billion without the fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not. It's simply not $1 billion.
But they don't flop either.
No, they don't. They don't flop. But they don't. But there's a reason why they ran to fucking Marvel when Amazing Spider-Man 2, which cost more than the Amazing Spider-Man, and it was meant to be a lower budgeted affair too. That was why. Andrew Garfield only made $500,000 to play Spider-Man in the first movie.
Really? That's terrible.
It was 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. If they did the movies, the second and third film, it would go up. It would double each time. And so they were supposed to be like a bit like, smaller budgeted, because Sony needs to rein in their spending a little bit. So, they go and they make that movie, and it does 709 million worldwide, whereas the first Amazing Spider-Man did 7 million worldwide. Yeah. So it's way less, and they spent more money on advertising, and they spent more money on the budget to get Jamie Foxx as Electro, and they spent all sorts of more shit, and the movie didn't fail to earn what they wanted, so they ran to Marvel. There's a reason. So so if they think, if the guy behind X-Men Origins Wolverine and sewing Deadpool's mouth shut thinks he's got Kevin Feige figured the fuck out, he's full of shit.
Yeah.
He's full of shit.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. So Sony, let's say the 50% deal, which is, it was never going to be 50%, but let's roll with that. So imagine this. They go and they say, okay, we're going to do Spider-Man 3. The budget for Spider-Man 3 is, let's say a high average of 190. Okay, 190 million. Each party pays out $85 million. Right? Yeah. Or $95 million. Sorry, my math is off. Okay, each studio pops up 95 million. And that's pretty average for these kind of films. So then Sony just pays them 95 million. Marvel ponies up the other cash and then pays itself to do the overseeing executive work. Then they go out and they shoot it. They do the editing, they do the post-production work. Sony then handles the marketing. But even in this case, it would be across the board. So they would also handle the marketing. They would handle half the marketing, meaning that they would probably then negotiate a deal. They say, well, then you pony up half the dough for marketing. We'll pony up the other half of the dough, and then we'll go and we'll market this. Now, all of a sudden, Sony is in a position.
200 million.
What?
Even marketing would be 200 million.
It would be a lot of money in marketing. But the whole idea here is this. Sony gets into a situation where they don't have to do anything. Really.
Yeah.
All they have to do is just say yes or no in certain things. That's it. That's all they would have to do.
And they still get money.
And they put up a little bit of cash. Yeah, they say yes, no. They cut a check. And then at the end of the day, they get paid. And it's not just Spider-Man. If you want to go with the deal will then take it further than Spider-Man. It'll take it into Venom and Kraven and Morbius and all the other characters. Silver Sable, Black Cat. Everything else they want to adapt. Now all of a sudden, those movies are on the table to move into the MCU, to be part of the larger MCU. So now Sony's making more money on the back end. Maybe not $1 billion every time, right? Maybe not $1 billion every time, but your cost to play, your expenses drop, your risk drops. And we're in this world now where the risks are too much for these studios. Even Sony, the risks are too fucking much. So now your risk gets cut in half. Half.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I still think it's kind of their baby and they don't want to let go of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do. They have a baby. They don't want to let go of it. They think they've got it. They don't want us with the cash. And I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is like, if the 75-25 split is like the best fucking deal they could ever get their hands on. Really. Mm-hmm. And like, there's, Marvel going like, look, we will produce these movies. We have a track record that is at this point not broken. So we're fine.
Well, I think it's broken. I mean, Thor 2 was absolute crap.
But Thor 2 was also 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 was also 6 years ago.
Those were bad films. Iron Man 2 is terrible.
Iron Man 2, no, they're not that bad. There could be way worse. Are they the best MCU films? No, but they served a purpose. The Thor: The Dark World is obviously like the worst one of the whole bunch, but even that is better than half the shit coming out of some of these studios. So, it's watchable, and they also, by adding in the Asgard shit in fucking Endgame, now made Thor: The Dark World kind of a better movie by default because it plays on your fucking emotional heartstrings, because Thor's journey is going to take him back to Asgard to see his mom.
Oh,
so,
right.
So that's the thing, that they tied it in to now all of a sudden retroactively make it a little bit better of an experience, which in many people's minds is then therefore makes it a little bit better of a movie. They're smart. They found a way to go back and make a movie better.
Went back and fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah, they went back and made it just a wee bit better because you know what's going to happen. Right? That's the whole point. Marvel is not dumb. They're not fucking dumb. People need to this is the whole thing with Sony that gets lights of fire under my ass. Is like Sony is the idiot here because they looked a gift horse in the mouth. You never looked a gift horse in the mouth. You just put your cock in it. Right? You just fuck it. And they could have fucked it. and it would have been a cheap fuck, and it would have made him a lot of money, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the whole point.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
So anyway,
But-
yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna. I've been getting a couple little buzzes here and there. So
right.
I'm gonna let you go here in a minute, but
Oh, okay. Well, last thing is that why would Sony say that their plans for Spider-Man are, really amazing and you should look forward to them? But you're saying you still think they're going to come to a deal. What's the deal with that?
well, the deal. I mean, come on. You think their plan for Spider-Man is actually going to work? The fact that have you seen Far From Home yet?
I haven't. No. I haven't.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just gonna say it ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh,
And it's a doozy of a cliffhanger. It's a doozy. Now, it's a doozy, and people are going to be like, everyone, again, I was at VidCon like about a week later, and we're all sitting there having lunch, and everyone's talking about fucking Spider-Man and how good it was. And then someone walks in, and they go, oh, what you guys talking about? Oh, Spider-Man. Oh, shit. And then we're like, have you seen it yet? And they're like, no, I haven't seen it. Like, all right, no one spoil it. And then we told the person to fuck off so we could continue talking about it. But we made sure not to. That's the whole thing. It was such a good thing. It's such a good spoiler. It's such It's such a good thing that fans are still talking about it a month and a half on. And that's the whole point, is that you cannot have a third Spider-Man movie and have it be anywhere near as successful with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, because it will not be able to address anything that we just saw. Anything.
Yeah.
That maybe with the exception of one aspect of it, which I don't want to say if you haven't seen it, but but it's that whole notion that you don't mind spoilers.
Yeah, just so you know, Avengers Endgame just came out in the UK on digital, and I'm going to watch it for the first time tonight.
Oh well, congratulations! It's a fun time. Have tissues. No, you don't need tissues.
I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie emotionally fucking wrecked me. Just emotionally wrecked me. It really did. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. Get some more people to call on in. But hey, thank you very much, and we'll definitely talk again soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. All right. Thank you very much to Batman Superman for calling in. The line is now open. Yes, Lunith. Zack Snyder is making a movie called The Army of the Dead. It's going to be on Netflix. It's like $125 million movie. Zack Snyder is not only... Okay, here's the pitch for that movie. The pitch for that movie is there's a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. Like, it's pretty much just like Las Vegas. And so a team of thieves want to go pull off a heist in zombie-infested Las Vegas. So that's what it is. They have to go to Vegas to pull off a heist. It sounds cool. It sounds really cool. I want to see it. It's got Dave Bautista. I don't know who else is in it, but it was supposed to go to Warner Brothers, and then Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder had a falling out because they fucked him. I mean, I get why he... No. Okay. Hey, 404 area code. How's it going, man?
Hey, so are you online right now?
Yeah, I'm live right now.
Okay, because I'm listening to the YouTube. Okay, so
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a podcast. It's like a call-in show. It's live.
Okay, so am I talking with the person who's on there right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, I'm beginning to hear it now, so that's cool. All right,
Okay. It's a bit of a delay.
Yeah,
bit of a
just
delay.
a little bit of a delay, so I was trying to make sure I was talking with the right person.
No, I wasn't going to
Okay,
post some random person's number and like have you called them in the middle of the night. So, I mean, that'd be kind of funny, but at the same time, if I couldn't hear it, I wouldn't be able to laugh. So, yeah. Anyway, no, what's on your mind, man? What's on your mind?
All right, cool. So, I've been actually observing you on YouTube last few days here, and I've been listening to some of your previous casts and everything. So I just wanted to call in because I noticed this was happening right now live and everything. So with the Star Wars thing, I wanted to make some comments.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. So, first thing, my name is David, and I have a Facebook group called The Expansion. Back when everything first happened with Disney buying Lucasfilm, and then they rebranded the expanded universe as Legends. I was one of the ones that was kind of like, what the heck is going on? And I joined some different groups, and it was like, there was just a lot of hate and vitriol going on with the fans. And I was just like, okay, this is not going to work. And so I had to start my group, and I did my best to try to keep it as peaceful as possible. And that's still a work in progress with some of the people on there and everything. But the bottom line is that what I and my group does is we accept the fact that the new stuff is canon, and the original canon has now been branded as Legends.
Uh-huh.
And personally, it took me a little bit to go ahead and try some of the new stuff, because I was my idea was like, okay, I'm going to watch the new trilogy, but everything else I ain't going to worry about. And but then James Luceno, I was emailing him, and he was encouraging me, hey, why don't you go ahead and read some of this? You liked me before, read me now. And then Thrawn's announced. So I was like, oh, okay. And so I read Luceno's Catalyst, and I took my kids to go see Rogue One. And as soon as we got back home and we were watching episode 4 again, it was just like, wow, no kidding. Because they blended right through everything.
Yeah, they did a really good job at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was really good. And then when Thrawn came on Rebels, and I'm watching that, I'm like, this ain't too bad. And then Timothy Zahn's coming out with his trilogy, and so I started reading that, and I'm just like, okay, well, let me try some of this other new canon stuff. And so now the Divisive film, Episode 8, come out. Now, here's the thing. I really was so surprised at how divisive that film was, because I went to go see it, and I'm just sitting back because I'm like, it's the new canon, it's brand new story. I don't expect it to be anything like Legends. I don't expect it to be whatever. I'm just going to sit there and take it as it comes, and I was blown away by it. I had a fun time with it, and a lot of the subversions that occurred, I thought were great, because to me, I figured if he had done what we expected, it would have been a boring film.
I see your point there, but I think one of the biggest pushbacks to that is like, subverting expectations is not necessarily the problem. It's that the way he subverted the expectations. Like, let me ask you this specifically, with really any character, like did the needle feel like it moved forward in a way that like felt significant?
Well, I mean, Ray got her training in some with Luke,
but
so
it was like in 18 hours.
I felt that she got she moved forward there. Luke had his finish, and so there's that. Leia really proved to be the same Leia that we've always known, but now she's older, and she just totally showed herself to be who she is, and the whole Mary Poppins thing that everybody talks about, I was just like, wow, we finally get to see her use the Force, and I laughed when I saw her fly across the sky. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I thought Mary Poppins too, but I was just I figured, well, it's Disney, so whatever, But what really got me for The Last Jedi was that when it was all done. Now there was some stuff near the end that I was just kind of I was kind of going, okay, enough with subverting expectations. Like when Rose Tico crashed into Finn, I was like, oh really? Come on, I mean that was pushing it for me a little bit, but
Wait,
but I thought the whole
that
thing,
did it for you, but Canto Bite you were fine with?
Canto Bite was hilarious. I thought Canto Bite was hilarious. It was a nice little subplot that brought everything back to the main fleet and everything because they needed to go do that and they come.
But the thing is,
back.
though, they really didn't. But like, let me ask you this then. Let me posit you this particular story change and see whether or not you like it. Okay. So when we first meet Rose Tico, what is she doing?
She's let's see. Oh, okay. She because I'm having to.
Well, I'll just tell you. She's crying. She's crying
because of her sister.
Yeah, but she's also stopping people from escaping, right? Because she zaps Finn. Right. So her whole thing in the beginning is she's protecting the escape pods because no one's gonna get off on her watch. Now, you take that concept right there, and when they are discussing the plan for needing to deactivate that tracking system, which they discuss down in that little hangar, right? They discuss it down there before pitching it to Poe. What if one of the people that she had knocked out, because we don't see any of those people, what if one of the people that she had zapped trying to leave was Benicio del Toro, was DJ, and he then convinces them to go with him at that point instead of breaking them out of jail after going to a casino planet and complaining about, race dogs and freeing race dogs, slave animals but leaving the children, by the way, leaving the children. So, wouldn't that make it a bit more interesting?
So you're suggesting, if I'm understanding you correctly, let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
You're suggesting instead of going to Canto Bite, just have DJ be one of the ones that she prevented from escaping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, they didn't do that, but if they did, that would have been fine too. It would just, totally, obviously would have totally cut out the Canto Bite thing. Because here's the thing is that in fact, actually, I would say that that probably wouldn't have developed the feelings that I got because the whole thing about the Canto Bite was right at the end there with that boy with the broom.
Yeah. No, I get that.
That there. I mean, they could have done that a different way and not had it at Canto Bite. Granted, okay. But the thing was that that right there at the end when that boy grabbed the broom with the Force, I was just like, okay, I am now excited for Star Wars. That just because I'm thinking about the Force Awakens, and now we got this boy grabbing the broom, and he's got that rebel insignia and everything with the Resistance and everything, and I'm just going, man, this is going to be something else of what's coming in the future. And then everybody starts bitching and complaining, and I'm like, what the hell, And there's a lot of people that I've talked with one-on-one that have liked the film, and it's only the people that I keep finding online that don't like the film. And I keep wondering about this. I'm like, why is that? Is it just everybody needs to, bitch and complain on YouTube? I mean,
yes, that is absolutely true. People do need to bitch and complain on YouTube. I think what it is, and people you've talked to enjoyed it. A lot of people I've talked to in my personal life haven't enjoyed it. They, for reasons that I've specified as well as others. And the thing is, though, it's like, I think what it is a lot of people really wanted to like it and they just felt let down by it. And it's really like the little things that do it, like I agree with you about seeing Leia with Force powers. That's cool. Would have loved to have seen it beforehand and maybe in a way that didn't feel, absolutely scientifically impossible.
And I would have loved to have seen it beforehand as well. Unfortunately, no one before that film did it.
Yeah, well, they wanted to do it. They could have done it in a different way, I think. But they just...
Possibly. Who knows? Maybe that'll be some of the unused footage from J.J. Abrams, and we'll get to see it again, in a different way in episode
Maybe.
9.
I think they're. I mean, they might. I think they're going to have to talk about that for a second. They're going to have to be like, so yeah, Leia, you were flying through space. What the hell? When did this? That's a new thing. I mean, and never mind the fact that they're like that like almost immediate next scene, we lost Admiral Akbar. No one says shit about Leia literally force pulling herself in from the vacuum of space without so much as a damage on her. Like she used the force field. I mean, I don't know if that exists in regards to everything. The force just like pulled her. I got no fucking idea, dude. It's like there's again, explain it to us. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be this massively in-depth crazy thing. It literally just has to be this happened and here's why. That's all it has to be. And people
I
still
haven't read the novelization, so I don't know what's covered there. And because I know that it's an expanded edition novelization and everything. And of course, novels can go into greater, explanation than the movie can. So I don't know what is in the novel in regards to what happened there. But I remember in some of the discussions that I've had with people, apparently this kind of stuff used to happen in Legends too. I don't remember specifically which story, because I mean, even though I'm a Legends fan, I've yet to read everything Legends. But at the same time, apparently there was some stories where something similar to that happened, and and they figure that they must have borrowed it from Legends. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember which story it was. That if somebody else is listening to this and knows, maybe they can call in and mention it or make it in the comments later.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna. I'm gonna let you go. I try to keep them. The conversations a little bit shorter if possible, because people call in and stuff. I know the guy from the UK was like a 25-minute call, because these things go on. Trust me, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing. But yeah, hey, thank you so much for calling in, man. I really do appreciate it, and I thank you for checking the channel out.
Well, let me just say one more thing, then.
Sure.
Since we have to close it. I am hyped for The Mandalorian. I'm hyped for Kenobi. I'm hyped for Episode 9, and I'm hyped for the final season of the Clone Wars. But with the comic book that came out a few months ago, Legends and Marvel, I am hyped for more Legends, and I hope that Lucasfilm is listening and gives us more Legends, because both timelines should exist. There's another Facebook group that says 2 canons, 1 universe, and that's the way I look at it too. And so I just but check out the expansion on Facebook if you're a Legends fan. We only talk about Legends there. I am thinking about possibly doing a couple more Facebook groups to discuss canon and both universes and everything too. So right. So take care. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Have yourself a great day. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. May the force be with you.
You too. That was a very insightful call. A lot of good back and forth about The Last Jedi. I haven't met anyone who liked it, so that was kind of like, that was interesting. There's a lot more to get into, obviously, with The Last Jedi. It's a great deal. So we did have a 727 area code call in during that, if you want to call back. If not, let me pop the number back on the screen here. Let's see here. There we go. But yeah, I think this Kathleen Kennedy thing. What do you guys think? You think she's telling the truth about Viking criticism, or is she against it? She just as a way to deflect, use a deflector shields against. I mean, no, I think she says like it's like a focus group following her around everywhere. So I think, to me, she's not really lying. I think she really pays attention, and I hope that they really do listen to that. So yeah, and I'm reading let's see, an article here on a Slash Film. Apparently other Marvel Cinematic Universe stars were not too happy about Spider-Man leaving the MCU. Elizabeth Olsen here says, "It's so sad. It really is sad. I mean, Tom was such a special. First off, he's the greatest Spider-Man to me. He's actually He actually has that youthful energy and the ability physically and emotionally, and he's just been incredible. And it's been really lucky we've been able to work with him. I think it's a big loss. It's really too bad. That's just very true. And then John Favreau says here, we've all heard the rumors, we've all seen the press releases, but you never know what's going to happen. I'm holding out for hope and being optimistic that this isn't the final chapter of the story between those characters. And of course, he's referring to the fact that he might get a makeout on camera with Marissa Tomei. I mean, can you blame him? I can't blame him. I can't blame him at all. Oh yeah, you want to see Rogue One remastered, huh? Yeah, totally, man. Me too. So let's see here. Hold on, wait. Daenerys Targaryen, what is this? Why did you post an 800 number? I don't know what that number that is. Yeah, I would love to see Rogue One. Or Rogue Squadron come back. That was always good. Rogue Squadron 2 was a lot of level 5. What did they go off to go do? They did that one, that dragon game, Lair, was it? Lair? For PS3 using the 6-axis controls. So, anyway, let me check the Discord here if anyone is in the Discord. All right, we got Dan Zhao here coming in. Hey, what's up, man?
Okay.
How's it going?
It's cool, man. I want to ask you, did you hear what JJ said
About
how The Last Jedi did not derail the franchise?
of course he's going to say that. You know, he's not. I don't think he's actually going to come out and say like it was a piece of crap. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to come out and say that. Would you?
I suppose I wouldn't, but do you think it's possible that maybe those threads actually okay with them? Maybe we should be worried about the Skywalker end, the rise of Skywalker.
I don't think so. You know, it's kind of like, let's say Die Hard 2, for example, right? So Die Hard 1, directed by John McTiernan, good movie. Well, I don't want to minimize it. It's a great film. And then you've got Die Hard 2, which is nowhere near as good as Die Hard 1. And directed by Rennie Harlin, who's a Dutch filmmaker. And then you've got Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was directed by John McTiernan, which effectively ignores all of the previous events from Die Hard 2 and then tells a kind of sequel to Die Hard. And that was an interesting little theory that was posited that I saw today. And what if J.J. Abrams, realizing that The Last Jedi did some stuff, but not a lot because it happened over the span of like 18 hours. What if that ultimately ends up, you know, like he ends up just kind of like ignoring a lot of it in order to continue his story? I mean, that could be, I would argue that is probably more likely of a scenario than just about anything else.
Then how would that explain, how do you explain Rey turning to the dark side? Because if you look at Ryan Johnson and at The Last Jedi, you would actually say that it's possible that convince her to join him to the dark side. But
well, what we saw with Rey is not Rey. That wasn't Rey. That was either a clone, her twin sister, or a Force vision. That is not Rey. So it's, you know, it's clearly a misdirect. If you recall, during the Force Awakens marketing, they focused a lot on Finn holding a lightsaber. And then at the end of the day, Finn held the lightsaber, and then he got his ass tore up with it, you know? So it's one of those situations where JJ likes to do misdirection, and he's really good at it. So you can't take it at at pure face value. It has to be looked at objectively. So if I will say this though, if they're going to pull anything from The Last Jedi, there is a couple little nuggets in there that could be used. So when Yoda is talking to Luke after burning the tree, Yoda says, Ben, you lost. Rey, we cannot. And obviously that's meaning, like the Force can't lose Rey. She's the balance. And they also talked about Snoke had made that line to Kylo early on about how the darkness will rise to meet the light because balance. And it's entirely possible that her and Kylo, that they're somehow related. There's like sexual tension there. Like they want to fuck, but, but there's going to be something that's going to connect. That's the balance. They're meant to balance each other. That's why Snoke was looking for Luke to off-put the balance, to kill Luke. And that's why, you've got Kylo and you've got Rey. Rey is probably going to be a clone of Palpatine or something, or, dumped. I mean, it's entirely possible. And I was having a conversation with this tonight with a guy at 7-Eleven, a cool guy who works there. And we're talking about that. I'm like, what if Rey was just dumped on Jakku in order to recreate the Anakin experience, right? So, I mean, Anakin, born to Shmi through the midichlorians, immaculate conception, and he was born into slavery, effectively. And then he had to go, and because keep in mind, like the old story is that, like, with Pelagus looking to master death, if I recall correctly, the midichlorians, the Force, created Anakin as like a fuck you to him, balance, right? And so what if they wanted to recreate that, and so they had her dumped off in Jakku? It's not Tatooine, but it's another desert planet, and that was trying to start the cycle anew.
Do you think they're going to retcon the idea that Rey is a nobody?
It's not that Rey's a nobody. It's that Rey's parents were nobodies. Because Rey's parents were just told to dump her there. That's what I think. I think her parents, whoever she thinks her parents are they told them, whoever, to dump them and to dump her out there.
That's a very interesting theory.
It's a weird theory, I'll admit. I don't have it fully fleshed out yet. I should do a video on it. But I should do a Rey as Darth Sidious video, like Star Wars theory video, and then just
or
Rey is Jar Jar theory. Rey's just a reincarnation of Jar Jar because he's Darth Sidious.
That would be hilarious.
But that's really about it. There's a lot of interesting shit there, but we just don't know.
I just want to actually reply to something that you said about the comparison between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi box office. It made less than The Force Awakens, like 1.3, right?
It made a lot less, yeah.
Okay, but if you look at other trilogies, it also happened with those other, with the other two trilogies, like The Empire Strikes Back is it's like 2/3 of The New Hope. Attack of the Clones is 2/3 of The Phantom Menace. So it's actually pretty much something that usually happens with Star Wars trilogies.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those. Again, events are cyclical, right? Timing, like that's the thing that I think a lot of I'm using air quotes here, fans don't get about Star Wars is like the storytelling is kind of it's there's prophecies, balance. If something gets offset in the balance, then it will be fixed. And who knows? I mean, it could just be a massive fucking time loop. Who knows? I don't know. But it's like the thing is though, this is also the problem. Is ultimately Lucas didn't have this fucking finale shit in mind. Because then you got to explain it. You got to explain everything. And it's best if you can just set it, he had his original trilogy. Good defeats evil. Empire gets destroyed. Jedi are going to come back. And that was it. For a long time. Over 15 years. A long time. And then all of a sudden, we're back and doing a prequel. And then he has to go in and explain everything, which then makes it a little bit what's the word I want to use here? It makes it look a bit more, not as like it kind of wears down the sheen a little bit because you understand, what's coming. So it's a little bit different. I don't know. I could just not be phrasing it correctly.
Anyways, I gotta go now, actually.
Okay, man. Well, hey, thanks for cruising on in, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Well, that was good. No, thank you very much. Yeah. So I saw Mishork said he wanted to call. Yeah. It's open. Feel free to call in. I think you have me actually added on there, don't you? Okay. Hello.
Hey, is this Matt Jarbo?
This is he.
Hey, man. It's Ed Evolution. How are you, man?
Pretty good. Where do I know that name from?
I'm one of your frequent subscribers.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, did I meet you?
Did you meet me? No, I
Okay.
think it was. Hold on, give me 1 second.
The name sounds familiar. I'm just trying to like place it. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, no. I actually just joined the group page on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I thought I'd actually give this a try, and hey, glad it worked.
Yeah. I normally, I just as an FYI, I normally don't answer the unknown numbers just as I hit the wrong button on accident. I should have said that, but anyway, no, it's all good. It's all good, man. So what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I mean, I just turned 29 at midnight, so there's that.
Well, congratulations, happy birthday.
Thank you, man. But I actually just when I got home earlier today, I was looking on Ghostbusters News, the YouTube channel, and they had just reported that Ernie Hudson confirmed his involvement.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was going to happen. I don't think anyone thought that wasn't going to happen.
Oh yeah. I actually, because I had to click on I watched the video and then I actually went on the actual website to find out more, and it was through, I think it was through this app called Cameo, where celebrities actually send birthday wishes and all kinds of shout outs. And Ernie Hudson was actually on there, not only wishing, I don't know if he was wishing a happy birthday to someone, but I know that in that message, he also let slip that he was actually shooting the movie. And I don't know if it was something that he was supposed to say, unless they actually gave him the say like, oh, okay, yeah, you could say this, and then he was actually confirming it. But I mean, he was, like, he flat out said, they're shooting right now, he's having a blast and all that. And I'm just like, wow, he actually said it.
Well, they need to have some kind of announcement. I mean, they've kept it very close to the chest, which I get why. But at the same time, it's like, no, fuck you. Just like, tell us more. Like, make people care again, like make them care.
Yeah, like this was one thing I didn't get though. Like, as far as like the whole and like, I get it with NDAs and all that, but like when Jason was announcing this movie and they were starting to shoot it, it's like, well, why keep the involvement of the original cast a secret when it's like a no-brainer that they're going to be in it?
Yeah, it's one of those things where they want to save some stuff. I thought there would have been massive announcements at that Ghostbuster festival that happened in LA back in June. I thought there would have been a lot more, like something. It just, from my understanding, it was a pretty lame experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
go
but
ahead.
Ghostbusters is like right now. I think with the negative press surrounding Spider-Man and the spotlight turning on to Sony, I wouldn't be surprised if a full blown Ghostbusters, announcement trailer is coming very soon. They've got the remastered video game coming out here, I think early October.
I actually want to get that.
I've never played it. But I'll be picking it up now for the remastered 100%. So with any luck, they'll give us something. If they're shooting it right now, then it's going to be pretty fascinating to see what they pull off. I mean, a lot of people are they want it to be better than the 2016 version, which I think it will. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be better than Ghostbusters 2016. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just one of those things where I think Sony wants to play this one maybe a little bit closer to the chest because they're afraid of the bad. They're afraid of bad press right off the bat. Oh, and I lost him. That's unfortunately that can happen though. Okay, let's take a look here. The chat. Let's see. John here says, my big problem with The Last Jedi was Disney altering the bad guys to be idiotic and incompetent villains. Oh, okay. Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I am good. I am very good.
So,
what's on your mind?
I have one of two subjects, but I'll let you choose between
Okay.
the subjects I'd like to discuss because I know you've got other people that want to talk about other stuff. So either Star Wars related or MCU related.
Let's go. Fuck, dude. Let's go Star Wars. I've talked about the MCU a lot this last week.
Gotcha. So, also earlier today there was a leak. They accidentally posted on the Star Wars website that the thing with Rey is in fact a vision.
I heard something about that, but it wasn't like a confirmation. Wasn't it more like it was more of a of wording, wasn't it?
Well, it was on their website, and they and someone took a screenshot sharing it, and showing that, saying that it was a vision. At least that's what I saw from the picture. You can take it whatever way you want, but to me, I honestly think it is a vision anyway. And I remember seeing that in the recent trailer, they had the sky with lightning full of star destroyers. I'm not 100% sure that's actually real. I think it's going to be a part in the film where the Emperor is tempting her and showing her visions of us ruling the galaxy, and having, this vast fleet, and, with her being an all-powerful Sith. So I'm pretty sure there are going to be star destroyers, and there's going to be stuff like that. But I think that particular frame where you see all those star destroyers, it's probably part of that overall maybe vision, maybe with the devil tempting Eve with the apple kind of deal.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took from it anyway. I think really, I think a lot of people are reading into that a lot more than is necessary in a lot of cases. And I only say that not to discredit anyone's theories, but I look at it it seems, given what we know about The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and how it likes to take elements, the key thing is to look at Rey's face and her how gaunt it is in that shot. She doesn't have Sith eyes, right? She doesn't have Sith eyes, but then again, the CG ain't done yet. It ain't done yet. So we don't know what's going to happen with it. We don't know, anything, but I do think it's a tempting vision. I still think even the 1,000 Star Destroyers is a vision.
Yeah.
I think the vision is like her leading 1,000 Star Destroyers to conquer the galaxy, because they're just so perfectly aligned. It doesn't feel natural,
Yeah,
and we've never seen that many in any place before. So it's like, where did they find them? Did the Empire have that many?
yeah, well, meaning, did the Empire have that many? Meaning, oh, the Empire before they fell, they had a surplus, and only now did the First Order discover their hidden surplus. That kind of deal.
Well, and that's the thing, is I said like the First Order, and that's the comment I made about the shot of the about seeing the X-wing and the blockade runner and the Y wings and the A wings and the B wings all coming out of hyperdrive or hyperspace. It's like those look like old, retrofitted ships. Like it came from the rebellion. And
Yeah.
this time, and then even the other ones
Oh,
feel like they came from the Empire. So it's like, what the hell? I have
yeah.
no damn idea.
Yeah, fight a war with outdated technology, just like the North Koreans. um, that's just a joke. But I mean, the thing with this film, no matter what, I am probably still going to be at least a bit disappointed. The Last Jedi, I really did not. I mean, the thing about The Last Jedi is that, they said we want to try to do something that, you wouldn't expect. Well, my philosophy is, well, what if sometimes what the audience expects is what they actually want to see? Like when I heard that this new trilogy was happening, and I was like in my last year of high school, um, when they were hyping up the Force Awakens, I was thinking that we weren't going. I know they said that they weren't going to do the Thrawn trilogy or any of those old EU books, which I'm like, that's fair because, they want to give us some new stuff. But I was thinking they should at least take some elements from that, because there were a lot of things that I liked about the old EU. I liked, the new Jedi Order. I liked the New Republic. And I actually kind of liked the whole Yuzong Vong invasion storyline. Like the idea that the Force doesn't affect these this race of beings because they're from another galaxy that doesn't have the Force. And
Yeah,
so
that'd be interesting.
I was thinking that, just take elements. Like you could even insert characters, like in I actually have the Force Awakens art book, and in early concept art they were going to have Darth Talon in the Force Awakens, which is a character that in the old extended universe had like a love interest with Luke Skywalker's grandson. So they were like going to reintroduce and reinvent the character, kind of like what they did with Thrawn and Rebels. So
Yeah.
kind of like throwing these fan favorite characters into new roles or new timelines, kind of reinventing them, reintroducing them. I mean, to be honest, I really did want to see Mara Jade in this new trilogy or something like that. What I think would have been good for this trilogy, like what I probably would have wanted to be happy. Um, because I know some people are probably going to diss me, but Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie of all time. I love that movie. Um, and so the ideas of like just undoing everything that the Return of the Jedi did, um, didn't really feel right. So what I feel like, instead of just rehashing the rebellion and rehashing the empire, the idea of introducing maybe some new types of factions. Because if you look at the Clone Wars was a war between the Galactic Republic and some sort of confederacy. So, like, if the New Republic forms from the fall of the Galactic Empire, maybe some other people are like, no, we want to be our own thing. So, like, let's say the Hutts form their own faction. There's a faction of other systems out there, or heck, even reintroduce the Yuzong Vong. I know some people might find it a little confusing, but I love the ideas of factions. I mean, Game of Thrones was pretty popular, and there were a lot of different factions in there going to war against each other.
Well, but the factions in Game of Thrones mostly boiled down to the Starks and the Baratheons and the Targaryens. It was really about it.
Yeah,
That was. I mean, there was like the Freys, and there were the Tullys, and there were the Turleys, and there were like all the other houses that were involved in some aspect. But the key factions in Game of Thrones were like the Starks, Baratheons, the Targaryens. That was it. Yeah, I understand your whole point, but it's like when you're looking at this from a not like a narrative perspective of like books and whatnot, because you're referencing a lot about the books. When you're talking about this from like a television standpoint or a movie standpoint, you got to follow the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
yeah,
Don't go too far into it.
yeah. I'm not saying that should be the main thing.
Okay,
I'm,
so I mean, I guess because you're kind of throwing a lot of info out there. I mean, I guess my question is, what is ultimately what is the point you're trying to get to here?
okay. What I would like to, see, of course, are like those a couple of those factions, but we mainly focus on, the New Republic slash the New Jedi Order, and something like the Yuzong Vong, or this sort of faction that forms out of a remnants of the Empire, not just like, oh, the New Order, but like something that is aesthetically different but has like its own sort of thing. They want to establish this type of order. The, Sorry, I don't know what words to use, but a new villain that gives a new threat but isn't a rehash of the previous one.
Well, I don't think we're going to get that in this movie, but I think we're going to get that with the next trilogy. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I mean that's what I was talking. Yeah, I was just saying that what would have made me happen is if you had some characters in this new trilogy, let's say if the Force Awakens and whatever didn't happen, and I was just saying, oh, what are they going to do? I would have wanted like some of the offspring of the characters, all as good guys, maybe one turning evil in part two, but not evil in part one, and the idea of this new enemy faction comes out in the part one, but then one of the hero characters gets tempted by the dark side, and the dark side is like, we are the only option in order to defeat this new threat.
okay.
So
Yeah, I think you're going really far into it, man.
all right, I'm talking too much. I'm really sorry.
And no, I'm just like I'm having trouble following you. I get what you're trying to say, but like I'm trying to keep up on it. So
I've got two words. It's fine. I'm sorry.
No. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate your enthusiasm 100%.
All right.
And honestly, Star Wars fans probably need more people like you to really get into the fucking nitty gritty.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
the people out there that don't know, I'm just, I'm trying to like keep it at least a little moving. So anyway, okay. So I'm, I know you want me to come on your let's set up a time, for us to do a long form discussion on this.
okay, I get it.
Yeah,
But-
it may be a little bit because I got the newborn kid, so my days are totally. I don't have a lot of time.
That's fine. I'm sorry.
No, not a problem.
But before we cut off, I'll try to end on a positive thing.
Okay.
So the thing that I expect to happen in the Rise of Skywalker, what I expect to happen is, Rey is, of course, going to somehow defeat the bad guy, the Emperor this time. And I think there's going to be some sort of like weird way that the Emperor is going to come back. Some way that is, of course, going to probably anger or confuse certain people. But somehow she defeats the Emperor against all odds. It turns out she's supposed to be the chosen one from the prophecy. And after the fall of the First Order, they're probably going to, just say, hey, let's do the New Republic all over again. And Rey will teach the new generation of Jedi or Skywalkers or whatever they want to call it. It's just that these movies have, just to me, have been losing a lot of excitement. I saw Rogue One. That's personally my favorite out of the Disney Star Wars movies. Solo, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that bad. I know some people are like, "Oh, this movie sucks," but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was that bad.
No, I thought I liked it quite a bit. But anyway, so yeah, the excitement levels, unfortunately, are not as there for a lot of people. Like, and I get that. There's a lot of problems that we've seen with it. I'm excited to see what they do because I think they can only really go up.
Yeah, well, I'm just worried that they're gonna do something just like in The Last Jedi again and make a lot of people angry again. I'm just I think that's worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is they pull another Last Jedi.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know.
If I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, all right, I'm going to let you go.
Right.
Thank you again for calling in. We will talk soon. Okay.
Yeah, and let's talk later in the year, and we can discuss our thoughts on Frozen 2.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have good ones, but okay.
I'm joking. Bye.
All right, man. Bye. All right. Again, no, I mean, I appreciate the call. It's a lot of in-depth stuff there. Star Wars EU, a lot of stuff there, a lot of great stuff. Okay, so, all right. 716, how's it going, man? Hello? Hello?
Hey Matt, hey, what's up? It's Brian. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, so we talked on Twitter before. My handle is Skywalker Brian. We talked about like Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before it opened up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I unfortunately I don't remember, but there's always a lot there to discuss. So
yeah. So kind of like I know you've been talking Star Wars and Marvel all night, but the one particular franchise that I'm also a pretty big fan of is the Breaking Bad franchise.
Oh yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, particularly the El Camino movie coming out this in October on Netflix. Now, for me, who really loves the series and been watching Better Call Saul, like seasons 1 through 5, and my question to you, I'm just going to lay out right. Do you have any fears, any pros, and any cons for this continue of this magical?
The fact that a couple things. For one, I'm hype, totally fucking hype. Because they did a promo for it, like the trailer is just Skinny Pete. I love Skinny Pete and Badger, so I'm like, give me more of them. Please give them bigger parts in the movie, especially Badger. Let Badger get high and then just start talking for 5 minutes. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. I love Breaking Bad. Okay, not only that, it's written and directed by Vince Gilligan. So it's not like it's not like Ryan Johnson, because he did some good episodes in season 5. I will give him credit there. He directed some good episodes. But
the Oddest episode.
Yeah. He did, yeah. I forget. I mean, he did Hank's death, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he's the one who killed off Hank.
That was such a tough scene. I hated that. I hated that so much. I was so mad. I'm like, it's coming, and you're just like, Walt's powerless to do anything about it, but he totally fucking set it up, and it's just like, it's such a good show. I'm excited for it. I want to see, like, I didn't think at first I was going to be excited because I'd heard about it. I'd heard about the Breaking Bad show, the movie, and I'm like, but like, is Bryan Cranston in it? Because I've heard there's been rumors. There's been rumors that he's been in it, and it's like, okay. I mean, you couldn't do a Jesse Pinkman movie without there being Walter White in some fashion, or at least Skyler. Like, is Skyler gonna? I don't think Skyler's gonna show. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think Skyler's gonna make it appearance. She got so much shit at the end of that show, and like, she got threats. She got threats. Yeah. Anna, her name what's her Anna? I forget her. It's Anna something or other. Is the actress name? But she was coming out talking about, like, people hated her, people fucking loathed her, and she's like, I'm just playing a character in the show. but they people were so into it. So I am really hoping that it does, that it's
So
good. I am
my
excited.
my only concern from because like I said, this show just celebrates this 10th anniversary and had a whole Comic-Con panel. Like, I think it was what, like last year, I believe so, or something like that. And they brought Aaron Paul brought out his baby in a hazmat suit and everything. It was pretty awesome. But from like a narrative and in a storyline complex, I just Vince Gilligan, I give credit. He's a very great director. Him and Peter Gould, like, because they're continuing the Better Call Saul franchise, and season 5's coming out next year. That's instead of this year. But my only concern is just like, I just don't want to stress the story too much and make it have any plot holes. That's only my concern with it.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where like, where do you take it? But I mean, like, clearly, like, I mean, look, but we have to look at what Skinny Pete said, right? Like, they haul in Skinny Pete. They're looking for Pinkman. It appears to be a couple years. Is he cooking again? Did he take up the new Heisenberg mantle? Like, is he just out there? Or is he just on the run and they're just looking for him? The way Pete set it up was like, look, man, I saw what they did to him. I saw the cage they kept him in. I know what and by Jesse Plemons killing his girlfriend, and everything else, like all that stuff, like they fucked with him so bad in the end there that his escape was like liberating. And of course,
definitely.
Walter going back just to save him was great. And so it's like, is there going to be, is there, I don't know. I don't know. I would not be surprised if all of a sudden Walter White pops back up. You know what I mean? Like, if just like, if he just you find out he's alive, that would be,
So
that would be interesting.
I had a theory of like, what if they decided to do they have some like extra some footage that they decided to cut out from the main series, and they could put it as a prelude for like a flashback, and then set it up. Do you think that would probably be possible or no?
I don't really see the point of it, to be fair, because the preludes, they always the little things they always put in the beginning of the episodes played off at the end of the season. So unless they open it with one of those things that plays off at the very end, but like, what is it going to be? Like, what's the callback? I mean, I'm hoping, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping there's fan service in this.
I agree.
I'm hoping that that they bring out a lot of stuff. They go back and reference it. Like, I don't know what's going to be there because I haven't watched Better Call Saul.
Oh, really?
I started watching it when it came out, but then I moved like halfway through like the first season, and then I just ended up like losing track of it. I know it's on Netflix. I need to sit down and start watching it. The biggest problem that was like with 2 kids, and then I work in the day, and then I do this until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I don't have a lot of time. Like I'm hoping to be able to find a way to make it all work, to get my Netflix time in.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I stuck with the first season. It was rough, but then after the seasons like 2 to 4, man, it takes off. And like I said, I don't want to throw any spoilers, but man,
no, Gus,
really
my cat.
surprised.
I have a cat named Gus, that is named after Gus Fring.
God.
My cat, and
God.
no, I thought it was a boy because we thought it was a boy, and then we found out that it was a girl, and we've had her for 7 years, and her name is Gus. And she is named after Gus Fring. So yes, I am a fan of fucking Breaking Bad when I name my goddamn cat after what I feel is one of the best villains in pop culture history. I love Giancarlo Esposito. That's why I'm hyped for Mandalorian. That's why I'm really excited for Mandalorian, because if he's going to play a villain, I hope Favreau, whatever, or Filoni, or whoever's writing, because I know Werner Herzog is going to be, bounty hunting is very, it's like, but I want Giancarlo to be, I want him to be Gus Fring. I want him to open up a fucking Los Pollos Hermanos fucking stand in the show. You know what I mean? Like, give us that. give us that shit.
So do you think it's possible that Bob Odenkirk's character for Saul Goodman, he could possibly make a cameo in this movie or no?
If he's in that fucking movie, he'd better be working at a goddamn Cinnabon. That's it. That's it.
That's true.
That is it. Because, like, that was probably one of the best Easter eggs in the opening of Better Call Saul, was him working at a fucking Cinnabon in, like, Wichita, Kansas or something. You know, my brother, I watched with my brother, and he just laughed his ass off. He's like, that's what Saul said he was going to end up doing, just working in a Cinnabon. That's what they got to do.
Yeah.
That's what they got to do. I haven't thought about Breaking Bad in years, so I'm totally just, I'm pulling references out of my ass that I haven't thought about in like half a decade.
It's just that I'm like a big fan, and it's especially like with the hardcore fans. Like, I'm not a hardcore fan, but I'm a big fan of the franchise, and there's a lot of like nods and Easter eggs in the Better Call Saul prequel series, and it's like, you know, like things I would even know about. But for me, I'm just like, I have my concerns, but then again, I'm excited at the same time because, man, when I thought of Breaking Bad, I was like, no, this is ridiculous. There's no way, you know. And I was like, oh man, it's a 2-hour movie, and I'm like, okay, then they were not joking about this.
No, I mean, I don't know what's going to be in it. I have been trying to figure out a way to like leverage my channel with Netflix to be like, hey, I've got 32,000 subscribers almost. Hook it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me get some review codes.
Yeah, and this is what isn't Breaking Bad all under Sony too?
Yeah, that's all Sony. Yeah, that's all Sony.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I
man,
was talking about this like last night when I said like Sony does a lot with television, and that's one of the big things.
Yeah, because I'm saying those like what you mentioned in your previous call with all this hoopla with Spider-Man is just like, you know, like I hope there's not gonna like the other fact that like there are other like properties they're doing whatever. So
there's always a lot going on with like everything. It's you know, it's gonna be any way we slice it's gonna be wild from every fandom going forward, because they're all trying to be everyone's trying to find a way to stay fucking relevant. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I mean, giving us a Breaking Bad movie is cool. I would rather there be a continuation than a reboot, because you're never going to be able to recapture the sheer despair from like the first like season of that show. Like when he kills the dude in the basement, you know?
Yeah.
And then they put the tub thing is just like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, oh Jesus.
It's just that my biggest pet peeve I'm hearing like from like all the major franchises, like some people felt like, oh, Breaking Bad was a disappointment, Game of Thrones was a disappointment, Dexter was the biggest disappointment, but those all narrative genres are like totally different. And to me, Breaking Bad is like one of the best like you know, it's made up, but it could be it, but it simulates like what the things happen in real life, especially down with like, you know, the cartel wars down in Mexico, and then like our home turf here that there are governments protecting everything. So that's why I find like so interesting. So
yeah, well, there's definitely a lot there, but I think we're gonna have to you have to call back in after the I might do a spoiler stream, or do a night dedicated to Game of to that once it comes out, because that opens in early October, and we'll definitely we'll get another trailer soon. I guarantee we'll get one probably before the end of next month.
Yeah,
so, but anyway, I'm gonna
and we did talk on Twitter, so that's like I said, following on Twitter.
Yeah,
so.
no, hit me up on. I'm usually on Twitter even when I shouldn't be. So you know, I may not. I try to respond, but I get a lot of fucking shit heels that follow me, so
yeah, no problem.
I keep a distance. Anyway, all right, yeah. Well, hey man, I will definitely talk to you later on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. We'll talk about spoilers then. So,
all right, bye. Okay, I know Curtis has tried calling in. There was also the 909. Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, Curtis? How you doing, man?
Hey, not much, Matt. I have a real out of left field question here for you.
What's
so far, everything tonight's been about all this other stuff. So I have and because we all know me, we all know I'm a little strange. Which would you rather see?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. Which would you rather see, a Last Starfighter sequel or a Flight of the Navigator sequel from Disney?
I'd rather see a Flight of the Navigator sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like The Last Starfighter, but like the concept's been done.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If there was a Last Starfighter sequel, would it have to have Will Wheaton in it?
No. Was Will Wheaton in the other one?
Yes. It was his best role ever. He was on screen for less than a second and a half, and he said absolutely nothing.
Oh, I didn't.
He was one
I
of
didn't.
Lewis's friends playing tag with him.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to watch it real closely to catch him.
Okay.
Like I said,
it's
it was
been
his best
so
scene
long
ever.
since. It's one of those. Well, it's one of those movies that the last time I watched The Last Starfighter, it was so hard to watch. The graphics were like, it's, the effects were so dated, and I was in film school at the time, which is like the worst time to watch anything from your past, by the way.
Oh God, yes.
Because at this point you're now just looking for like all of the problems, because you're like, well, why didn't they? Never mind the fact that it's, way afterward. But yeah, it was one of those things where I talked about it with one of my friends from film school at the time, and he goes, there are some movies that just belong in your past, that are just better to stay there. And we had that big discussion about The Last Starfighter. So I've always, as much as I love the concept, and I do love the movie, it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, you know what, leave it there. But then again, they, that was also before they just said, hey, like, let's go and remake Clash of the Titans, which I didn't think needed to be remade. The original with Henry, was it? Well, what was his name? It was Henry something, right? It was who was in the original? Harry Hamlin, Henry Hamlin.
I think so. Let me check real quick.
It doesn't matter, but it's one of those things where you just kind of laugh, and they remake everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if they remake Last Starfighter, especially now with video games being as big as they are. I don't know why they actually haven't.
Now that would be a question, because would it be a remake or a sequel?
I think at this point it would just be a remake, because no one they would, if it's a sequel, they would just call it The Last Starfighter. It'd be like, which one, the 2019 edition or the 1985?
Oh no, it would just be the Return of the Last Starfighter.
And that'd be the sequel. That'd be the sequel.
Yeah,
they just call it. Because I mean, look, like Ghostbusters. It wasn't Ghostbusters 2016, right? It was just Ghostbusters. I mean, Tron Legacy at least had the decency to put Legacy afterward. But RoboCop, the 2014 version, was a remake or a reboot or whatever, and that shared the same name. So we've seen this kind of crap before. They would just call it.
Exactly. But again, that's where it's like, because if you do away with the bad imagery, bad CGI, because at the time it wasn't really well known, it wasn't really good.
Yeah.
How could, would you remake it, or would you do a sequel? And if you'd remake it, would you change anything? I mean, like, would you gender swap the main character? Would there be a reason to?
No, I don't. There's no real reason to. I mean, it could be a woman.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And that's
you could make it
the whole point.
Well, if I'm being honest, I would probably, if I heard, oh, they're doing it like with a female lead, I think I'd have to stop for a brief moment and go like, search the trades to see what the trades are saying, because I do that now in anything when it's like a different thing. Like I just go and I look to see like who's saying what, and I do that not because I agree or disagree with them. I generally, if it's good, I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. But it's like I do that because then I wait for the backlash and who the backlash is coming from. And whether or not it's like, they go like people even in the chat tonight, I talked about like, like I think someone said like Star Wars is going SJW, and I'm all like, because it got a female lead. Like, I mean, really, is that where we are? Is that where we are now with this? Like, that's the thing I don't like. I don't like that. It's like, there's nothing wrong with having a female lead or a black lead or an Asian lead. The biggest issue, and I know you agree with me on this one, is it comes from the trades.
Yeah,
just like
if your first thought about the lead is because of their gender or because of their race or because of their sexual orientation, then you're missing the point of the story. The only time any of that should matter is when it actually matters to the story.
Yeah, it's like people like were saying like, oh, Marvel got woke with Captain Marvel, and it's like, yeah, but Carol Danvers in the comic is a woman. I know the original Captain Marvel wasn't, but it's the original Nick Fury was a crusty looking, well, not crusty, he was a white dude.
The original
he was a white
Nick
guy.
Fury was David Hasselhoff.
I know.
I mean, come on.
At Comic-Con, somebody was selling that movie on DVD. It was a rip of it, and I'm like, I feel like I should buy this. I didn't buy it, but I thought I should have.
People who remember that movie.
I remember watching that on fucking Fox when they aired it on Sunday night.
Yes.
Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, yeah. Because I
And the
also
funny
liked the
part is
Captain America movie from the early 90s. I did. I liked
did
it.
you ever see the second one?
They did a second one?
They did a second one that was actually the son of Captain America, who is treated with a serum made from Steve Rogers' blood. And the whole trick behind it was that they had been trying to recreate the actual super soldier serum. And the problem was that they had it and it would work, but it would kill whoever they treated it with after 7 days. And Captain Rogers' son is in an accident. And so they treat him with the serum because they think, well, it's his son. He's got a 50-50 chance because of the genetics, maybe it'll work. And so that was the one that had Captain America jumping his motorcycle into a helicopter.
Interesting. I did not know that existed, but I remember watching the TV Captain America
on broadcast TV.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and then I recorded it on VHS, and I watched it a bunch on VHS. I think they've released it on Blu-ray. I think they have. I need to pick it up. I need to do that because that movie is so terrible. It's fantastic.
Exactly. Now, with everybody saying stuff about Star Wars Episode 9, I'm going to say something here that's going to absolutely get me pan-fried if people figure out who I really am. What if Rey is a female clone of the Emperor?
That's going to piss some people off.
And what's his face? Ben isn't actually going to the dark side. He's undercover trying to find out everything that's going on there.
Well, if he was, if he's an undercover agent, then he killed his father.
Yes, because there was that. Do you remember there was that theory that came out on Reddit that Han
Is he
Solo,
like fucking Serpico?
No. Okay. The theory behind it was that in order to become a Sith, you have to kill whoever means the most to you, right? Okay, that was one of the rules of becoming a Sith, was that you had to kill a family member that meant something to you.
It's also how you get into a gang in Chicago, but okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So the idea was that if you go back to the dialogue, you can tell that Ben is actually talking about, he's not just talking about trying to fight against being evil. He's talking about being on a balance and having to prove he is what he is. And so Han Solo, knowing that he needed to prove it, told him to go ahead and to do it so that he could fake turning to the dark side to try to uncover Snoke and the First Order.
So do you think that Han Solo is really alive or dead?
I think that Han Solo is wherever Harrison Ford wants him to be. I think that Han Solo is going to stay dead unless Disney can wave enough money at at Harrison Ford. And quite frankly, I don't think they can wave enough money at him because he was tired of the character. He wanted to kill the character off a long time ago. You know, he wanted to get rid of Han Solo, and the problem is that Han Solo is too much of a bridge character, because even though Luke Skywalker was supposed to be the hero, everybody wanted to be Han Solo because Han got the girl. You know?
Well, I'd also argue that Han was just people like playing as a rogue with questionable moral character, because life is full of questionable moral choices around every single corner. So I think that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Before I go, here's one horrible joke from the extended universe. How many Corellians does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
None. That way you can't see them cheating at Sabak.
Oh, go tell that joke to your kids. Go tell that joke to your kids.
I'd apologize, but I'm not sorry.
I bet you're not sorry. Man. I'll see you later, man. Have yourself a great night.
You too.
Bye. Curtis, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, yeah, we're coming up on the last little bit here. I could probably take one or two real quick calls if anyone else wanted to jump in. I know there's a couple people that have tried to get in and anything else. But yeah, let's see here what the chat's saying. Let's see. The only reason why we got Han and Carbonite is because Harrison Ford wanted to die in number 5. I agree. I think I think that it, it would have been weird if they would have killed off Han. It's like killing off Indiana Jones. It's one of those things where, do you really want to kill off Indiana Jones? I don't at all. But we live in the world where that might be a reality. So who fucking knows? But anyway, I'll post the phone number one more time if anyone else wants to call in. If not, I'll probably wrap it up here in just a couple minutes. I mean, I don't know. I still have this weird theory that like Harrison Ford is going to show up in the movie as like that big surprise, like that really big surprise for the audience. Like, here's the thing. If Darth Maul can be cut in half and come back, and the Emperor can be thrown down into the reactor core of the Death Star as it's exploding, it can, Harrison Ford can come back. Hey, 727, you're on. What's going on, man?
Hey, it's John. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I also think that Han just might be force projected into a Bacta tank. I think that might happen. That's one of my hopes. But the Emperor voice in the trailers, I think it's just a new spot for where Rey has to do the dark side test, like Luke did on Dagobah.
That's what a lot of people are thinking, and it does kind of come across like the most realistic. Because if you look at the bottom right corner of that particular shot, when she stands there and it cuts to the wide shot of her, unleashing the nunchuck double saber, you see somebody move. You see somebody.
Oh, okay.
There's someone there and they end up moving. It's I mean, whoever it is, I don't know. You just see a little bit of cloth. That's it.
On Mark Hamill's Twitter, he reposted the double lightsaber into a Swiss Army knife compilation of sabers.
That was really funny. That made me laugh my ass off. Yeah, that was really great. Well, he also tweeted out when they released that new poster for D23. He hashtagged it Luke the Spook, right?
Yeah.
And one of the a Twitter account that says that they are publicists at Lucasfilm said Ixnay on the hashtag. Now I don't know if that means Luke is a ghost, or the fact that you sometimes some people view the word spook as being a racial epithet. So
that's a pretty old one, but yeah,
it's a super old one, but so was Mark Hamill. So no, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he did that, but it's like I don't think he's a Force ghost. I just don't see it.
I hope not, because I really couldn't. I mean, after watching The Last Jedi, I was like, at halfway through the movie, I was like, I hope he doesn't kill Luke. That was my only thought.
I bet you were disappointed.
I watched Star Wars when I was 8 years old. I saw Star Wars when I was 8 years old in the theater. So what I really can't stand about Disney is they love incompetent and comedic villains, which is not Star Wars at all. I mean, the competency of a villain is what made Star Wars. But that's just me.
Well, I think that's what's going to be really good about about The Mandalorian. Is I think having Werner Herzog as a villain, he's an excellent villain. As being the bad guy is going to be very interesting. I think that's going to be very fascinating. And a lot of people, I think, are going to really get attached to that. Because, having a good villain is, because a couple callers ago, we're talking about, Breaking Bad, and one of the villains on there was so good, he's iconic. I named my cat after him.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have a good villain, people will fucking tune in for a good villain. They like it. But it can't be like like Vader was a good villain because you didn't know much about him, but he was like menacing. You know, James Earl Jones
yeah.
brought that. And then, of course, with the whole, like, I am your father, it's like, oh, shit. You know, like,
Yeah, that
oh
was
my God, we're in
unforgettable.
this crazy. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Where things have been, where they're gonna go. I don't quite know specifically what's gonna be happening with this next movie. I don't want to like over theorize myself because I just want to go and enjoy it. Like, there's gonna be enough online bickering over the movie leading up to December.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the trailers do. I think they do all misdirection just to garner attention. But the 3-hour movie, it might be a retcon hour and then 2-hour finish. But I can't see the First Order completely self-destructed because it's just not believable. You know, because it took. I mean, there was 3 episodes with the Empire series. You know, the Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. So I think there'll be 3 more episodes after that, but it just depends on who's going to write them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're not going to do any more episodes after this. I think they're done. I think this is going to end the saga, good, bad, or the other. I think this is going to end the saga. But one of the interesting things with it, though, is that what's going to come after the fact, right? Like, I think the fact that the Mandalorian is the first Star Wars, you know, like I mean, you could argue the Ewok movie just like this, but it's kind of the first offshoot, spin-off, whatever, that is not directly tied into the Skywalker saga in some form or another.
Yeah.
Now that of course is yet, because if it's 5 years post the events of Return of the Jedi, that means Luke is out doing his thing, helping take down the Empire or searching for Jedi remnants and whatnot, trying to rebuild the temple. Now, what if the Mandalorian at the end of the day it ends up serving as a backdoor pilot for a Luke Skywalker show? Wouldn't that be something?
Well, I guess my actual favorite would be Thrawn series, but I don't know if Disney's going to allow that to happen. But I don't know why they don't have that. I mean, it's that good of a book.
Well, the thing is, they brought Thrawn into Rebels, and they, you know, I mean, Rebels. Thrawn is still kicking around. I think after the end of the after the fall of the Empire, right?
Yeah. Thrawn was 5 years after the Battle of Endor, so it was interesting that they picked 5 years after for the Mandalorian series. So. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I just like a competent Star Wars villain. You know, that's really, because if you don't have that, then it kind of falls apart, really, in my book.
Yeah, well, no, you need to have that, and I would argue that I think this would be one of those things where they're definitely going to do something well with it. So. Anyway, I don't know. I'm really hoping that they up the villains, because, you know, that's the thing we need. You know, it's like when people look at Batman, right? Batman's got a great villain rogues gallery, so people want to see more from that. That's why people are looking forward to the Joker movie. People want villains. You know. Yeah,
they want good villains. I mean, I just wish the Joker story had a progression instead of just keep rehashing, start, rehash, start, rehash, start. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, because the MCU definitely changed, I think, movie making now. I think it really did. So they're thinking long term for stories because there's more money in it.
Well, if they can keep people coming over to, if they can keep people coming over, what's it called, to Disney Plus, they're gonna make a lot of money. So, you know, there's a lot of that's gonna go down. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they end up really pushing for that particular that angle for a bit, just because I think it's gonna do well to kind of revitalize it. And if they can start selling like Mandalorian merch, which I do think they'll be able to do, then that will do well for them. But anyway, man, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna wrap this thing up here in a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
But
good talking to you.
thank you very much for calling in and have yourself a great night.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. I know it's definitely a little bit late, and you guys like to hang out with me, so it's all good. But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely gonna wrap this thing up here. So tomorrow, I don't have anything planned for tomorrow. I'm trying to reach out to the Den of Nerds and get him on to discuss this whole Grey Jedi thing they're working on. And I've also reached out to a few other people trying to get someone on. But I go a little bit late, so I might need to plan it out and then go a little bit early. So we'll definitely figure it out. But as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun. And get some sleep. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have yourself a great night, and peace out.